What is up, guys? Welcome back once again to the Hillside. And today I want to talk about where this channel began. So, about 3 years ago, when I started this channel, I was always a houseplant enthusiast, a gardening guy, all that kind of stuff. And my first videos, they were pretty amateur, but I just looking back at some of the plants I used to have and what I showcased on my houseplant tours from so many years ago, that looking at it now, what the Hillside plant room here has turned into is incomparable to how it began. So I'll leave some links down below to some of the original videos I made about houseplant tours, etc. here at the Hillside Gardens, but I'm just going to kind of show you what I have going on now. And if you go back and watch those old videos, you'll be blown away like I was. So just how different and how much more lush and how many more plants I actually have in this room now. It has truly taken on its own personality. So if you watch any of my other videos, a lot of these plants are not going to be unfamiliar to you, but if this is your first time watching the Hillside Gardener channel, you're definitely going to want to check those out and follow along to see everything I have growing on here in the plant room and then some. So this is just the typical Indian rubber tree. Has these nice burgundy waxy leaves, putting out some new growth right here, which it always does in the winter time, which is weird because in the summer it doesn't do anything. I don't know if yours does that or not, but that's what mine does. So going on from here, right here, this you can kind of tell with these leaves. This is the velvet leaf philodendron, or the philodendron micans, and this is actually from a cutting that I took off of the mother plant, which we might get to that. We may not, depending on how long this video rolls, but this is one of my favorite plants. It has nice, soft, fuzzy leaves. And as the sun kind of shines through it, I mean, it's almost translucent a little bit, but you see the purple and the velvet really kind of shows through, which is really, really awesome. In the back here, the Streptocarpella is pretty awesome. It blooms all the time, so it's a great house plant if you guys need something to bloom in a windowsill during the winter time, kind of give you something to look forward to. Now this right here is an interesting story. I bought this little tiny Hoya right here, this little guy, and this little tiny pot, and I didn't pay attention to it. And one day it was vining all over the place. It was intertwined behind the table here. It was tangled up in some other plants. So I didn't have any other strings, so I just threw this little like sewing thread and kind of rigged it up here to the curtain. And I figured I would just I'd come back and change it out later. The plant had other intentions, and it grew all the way up here to the top of where the curtain rod is. If you can kind of see that, it's kind of shaded out, but I actually eventually cut it off at the top because it was touching the ceiling. And there you go. But it is it's loving some life right there. And that was just from a little plant. That's all happened within the last 2 to 3 months. So if you get a Hoya, make sure you give it some room because it will absolutely vine everywhere. And speaking of vining, now this plant right here, again, this is actually from some cuttings I took from another mother plant. Stuck them in this little container here with this moss pole, and it has grown all the way up here, and it just keeps getting bigger and bigger and bigger, and it's actually outgrown the top of the moss pole, and it is just finding its own way in life, I suppose. But I've taken cuttings off this. I've shown you guys how to propagate this. This plant's super easy. If you haven't seen that, check that one out. That'll be very informative for your house plant adventures. Now, looking back at those old videos, I didn't believe it, but this plant right here, this giant pitcher plant, okay, or Nepenthes, whatever you want to call it, the official name, this little plant started off as two little guys. The video I took was on December 18th of 2020, so going on about 2 years, almost 2 years since I made that video, and they're little tiny guys, so I probably had bought them in the summer or maybe late in that late summer, fall time of 2022. So in, we'll call it 2.5 years, this little tiny guy that had maybe 3 leaves on it, on each one, has turned into this awesome jungle. Now look at that, all those nice little pictures in there. This plant is super healthy. It got so big that I took cuttings from it, and I turned that into about 6 more plants. And I will do a video on that about how to propagate some Nepenthes if that's something you're interested in. But one thing I do want to check out. Now look, these are the pictures, and the peristome is right here, so that's what I'm going to call it. The peristome is this nice red ribbed color, and it has, kind of a bulbous form, I suppose, with the red petiole there. And so anyhow, taking the cutting from this massive plant here, so it's just out of control. Let me show you what I have over here. Now this is the actual top of that plant. You can kind of focus on this. Now this is the top of it. I took it, the cutting of it, it had maybe 3 leaves on it. It is growing up, and away. This right here was another cutting I took off the other one. Try to get some better light. But what I really want to show you though, guys, check out these. Now this is the picture of the plant now. It is just solid green. It's really no color to it, just green. And this one right here, sorry, the glare is awful. This glare here, but check it out. That is also just green and very, very slender. So I think what may be happening as these plants grow, an interesting fact is they actually go from putting on their lower pitchers, which would be on the ground, to intermediate pitchers, and then finally to upper pitchers. As the plant, would grow into the tree, it would actually need to catch different prey. So the pitcher shape will change, the colors may change. So that's kind of cool. So definitely follow that to see how that changes over time. Now this is the just a typical pothos, golden pothos. It's doing fine. Tradescantia, it has it's, I don't know, it just grows and grows and grows, and I don't really like it, quite honestly. If you like them, I mean, I understand why they're really low maintenance, hard to kill, but I just don't like it. So the next time I do a plant purge or something, it may be going away, trading it, doing something with it. Now this here, everybody knows Monstera adansonii, or the Swiss cheese plant. And this is the mother plant that all of the cuttings have come from over the years. I mean, this thing is actually doing amazing. This old bamboo stake I have here, it has now reached the top of it. So that is pretty cool. So I mean, probably need to cut that back and repropagate the growing there to kind of well, just kind of tame it. But I mean, this thing is just going crazy right here. Now, if I can try to get that, see that aerial root right there? That's what you're looking for when you want to propagate. So definitely be probably cutting that back and propagating it. Have some ideas and some theories about what may come of that. Really simple. The philodendron Birkins has this reverted for the variegated form. It's unstable genetics from what I gather, so it's kind of crapshoot what you may or may not get. But there you go. It's okay. I like it a lot. It's not my favorite, but I do like just how different it is in some of the leaves. Gives us something to look at other than just a straight green leaf. Now this down here is Amazon lily, and it finally bloomed this year for the first time. I have photos of that. I'll see if I can add them to this video. If not, I might make a video specifically on this plant next summer when it blooms. It is pretty cool. It has a pretty cool story how I came about actually getting that plant. This here is the philodendron burl marks. This was a cutting. It is taken off. It has taken root, and it is doing quite well, putting on these nice elephant ear shaped leaves on it. If I get the words out. There you go. I like that plant a lot. That's a new addition, very recently, probably within the last month, honestly. You've seen this before, and this was not in the previous plant tour videos, but this is I got this last year, I think after I did my plant tour video, so it wasn't in the last, I don't believe, but it may have been. I'll have to go back and check, but besides the point, and that is the humidifier running, so it's nothing to worry about there. This is where I do a lot of my propagations, and I don't really want to fool with opening this up right now because I'm trying to do too many things with the camera and I'll just drop it or something. But those are some of the cuttings from the plant I just showed you, and they're taking off quite well. Some more of the adansonii plants in there, some more. These are all just rooted cuttings that I'm trying to get propagating out, guys. So I will do a video on just the actual propagation and what I have going on here, maybe do a greenhouse tour, but just for the record here, more cuttings, more cuttings, more cuttings. And what I'm trying to get at this, guys, humidity. When you're making cuttings in these tropical plants like that, they need to be in a humid environment if they're going to survive. So this was like $35, takes up almost no space, right here against where this wall of this plant. So highly recommend you guys getting a nice little indoor greenhouse setup, some kind of thing like this. Doesn't take up much space, and it will definitely help you with propagating your own plants. So over here, this orange stemmed plant is actually a relative of these spider plants, which you've all know and love. Like this right here, the spider plant, variegated form. And we know that because of the little babies here, so easy to propagate, makes propagation and multiplication of these plants very, very easy. But yeah, so those are actually relatives. I believe that was from East Africa, the semi-subtropical area, so pretty cool. It's doing okay. It grows very slowly, so it won't take up a lot of space to get out of control too quickly if that's a type of plant you are looking for. And this is just another spider plant that was just from four little pups like this last year have turned into this massive plant. So those will grow fast, so make sure you do give them some room. A lot of people put those in hanging baskets because they like the way they kind of cascade with their offshoots there. And getting over to some of my more durable plants, we'll call them. These are peperomia, and I was not aware this one would vine when I got it as a little tiny cutting, a little 2-inch pot. But it has vined up here, and it is doing quite well. And I'm not sure, I just noticed this. These might be some kind of insect I need to look into. If you know what that is, let me know. It might just be dirt. Hopefully it's nothing too concerning, but I have some safe organic indoor houseplant spray. I'll probably knock it onto it just to be safe. Worst thing happens that it just prevents something from getting onto it. Here's another one of the barrel marks, philodendron. If I can kind of zoom in down here. What I love about getting up close to your plants like this, you see little things like this. See that little aerial root, how it's going connected and getting down into the soil? Those kind of things fascinate me. So getting down up close to your plants is something nobody does, or they should, or they don't do, but they should be doing. So I'm trying to say, get in nice and close. It's pretty cool. It's like its own little world down here that you just walk by and never notice. So in the background, if you see there is another peperomia, and in the little mac and cheese container is that is actually a cutting of the Streptocarpella again, the purple flowers on it. You see right there. That plant's doing quite well. Now this right here, I think some people posted they wanted to see some updates on the Kalanchoe I did, that I pruned the massive plant into dozens of little plants I've given away. It is doing quite well. Hopefully it flowers this year. Another peperomia. These plants, they can dry out. That's what I like about them. And this window gets a lot of direct sun. So they dry out and they do quite well. These nice waxy type leaves, you can kind of tell, are pretty much more able to withstand periods of drought. They're not going to be as prone to being affected by being underwatered, if that's what I'm trying to get to. Down here, it's an interesting story. These are some syngonium that I've grown from seed that are doing fantastic. This is supposed to be Philodendron Paradiso Verde, but all the pictures I've seen, the leaves don't quite look like this, and hopefully it's just because they are from a cutting and they're very immature, and they'll grow into what I believe they're supposed to look like, but time will tell. Hopefully I didn't purchase something that was misnamed, or the seller was unsure what they were selling. I don't know. Either way, it's actually it's very healthy. It's growing quite easily, quite well. So it likes where it's at. So regardless of what it's called, it's got a home here on the hillside. But now I'll end the little plant tour today on this right here. This is my favorite plant of my collection so far, and I did a video on that. I'll leave a link down in the description. This is the Philodendron Bloody Mary. Now the stems on this are awesome. I'm kind of a sucker for these different colored stems, like the orange stemmed spider plant relative there. This dark form of this is just cool, man. But I mean, these dark, nice, glossy leaves, aerial roots coming out. Some are actually fixing themselves into the I guess I said moss pole. That's probably incorrect. I think it's coconut fiber. Yeah, but there you go, guys. Just a little bit of a all-encompassing tour. Now this is not even remotely everything I have. I have other places. I have another entire room full of plants I need to show you guys, but that's a work in progress of mostly just cuttings and some baby seed propagation, things like that. But those videos are upcoming, and can't forget to show you the snake plant, Sansevieria. I did a video on propagating these. You guys liked that video a lot, so I appreciate those who watched it and give that one a thumbs up. That was one of my better videos. And this one here is actually a new one. This is the Sansevieria Moonlight. That's pretty cool. Yeah. But there you go. So that's just a little quick wrap up. Hopefully this 2022 edition is a little bit better than the previous ones because, I don't know, I guess I'm a little bit more comfortable with the camera and talking and et cetera, and whatever. So guys, thanks for hanging out with the Hillside Gardener here on this 2022 fall plant tour. Hopefully you enjoyed it. Leave a comment down below what your favorite plant was on this tour, and there will be plenty more to come as I have so many videos lined up, so much content ready for you guys. So please hit that subscription, click the bell so you're notified when I do drop out some more awesome content. And until then, guys, you guys be good. Go grow something, and I'll see you then. All right, guys. Until then, bye-bye.